What is happening, everybody? Well, if you can't tell by that shit-eating grin on my face, yeah, took the Challenger to the drag strip tonight. SRT Jimmy hit me up on Instagram and said, hey, let's take these things to drag strip, have a little fun with them. I said, hell yeah. See, here's the thing. The last time I took my car to the drag strip, I had one goal in mind, and that was to put the car in the 11s in summertime conditions for where I live. Down here on the third coast, those conditions look a lot like this. Somewhere between 85 and 88 degrees Fahrenheit with a humidity of around 70%. So, yeah, to say it was muggy is an understatement. Freaking swamp. But the goal was to get consistent 11.90's at least out of the car because, well, for one thing, I wanted to back up that 11.90 pass, and since I didn't do it last time, it was a solo 11.90 pass, yeah, I felt like if I couldn't back that up consistently, then I can't say that the car is a legit 11-second car. So here's what I did a little bit differently. Oh, and first of all, let me give you the mods on the car. It's got a Hellcat airbox, a Hellcat filter. Intake runners have been cleaned up by yours truly. It's got a Pipes Performance tune, JBA catless pipes, set of Nitto Tri-5 drag radials in 305/3520 on the stock SRT wheels. And that's it. That's the wrap on the mod list. The last time I took the car to the drag strip, I had removed the speaker box and took the floor mats out of it, and I was still running at about 3/4 tank of fuel. The only difference that I made to the car this time is I was just running with about 1/4 tank of gas in it. So that was the only weight reduction, I guess, if you want to call it, and the only difference between this time going to the drag strip and me going to the drag strip, a couple of weeks ago. So how did it do? Well, fresh off the street, still piping hot, the car went an 11.973 at 115.41 miles per hour. And I'm hoping this will focus. Is that focusing? At any rate, there's that time slip. You might have a problem with focusing, but I'll still try to show them to you anyway. I let the car sit for about, 20 minutes or so, and I wanted to back that 11.90 pass up. At least I was hoping to, because I figured if I could back that pass up with the car still hot, then it would basically solidify the car as a high 11-second car, at least. Well, how did it do on that next pass? Well, how about an 11.917 at 115.63 this time? Car was on a hunt. Check that out. Now, on that pass, it had a 1757 60 foot. You keep that in mind. So, now I was stoked. Giddy as a schoolgirl because I had met a goal that was, to be honest with you guys, I didn't really know if the car was going to be able to do it. The tune is on point. The car is consistent as the sun rises, but man, I gotta tell you, getting something that's 4,400 pounds with me in it down the track in the 11s is a feat in and of itself, much less in these conditions. But I wanted to see just how much I could get out of it. So now I decided to let the car sit for a little bit, cool off as much as I could get it to cool off, and get the thing in the staging lanes and see what the best pass this car had in it. When I made this pass, the density altitude was 2,080 feet. So it had cooled off slightly. I think ambient had dropped from 88 to 84 degrees, and that's really where the difference in DA, I believe, came from. And maybe it went from 72% humidity to, 68% humidity. So at any rate, DA of just under 2,100 feet, and I let the car cool off. I know it's a bit of a halo pass for the night, but I got to boast it anyway. Went an 11.891 at 115.83 miles an hour, and with an identical 1757 60 foot. So Yeah, letting the car sit for a little bit, cool off, definitely helped. The oil temp was about 180 degrees, 185 degrees Fahrenheit when I made the pass, and I believe the coolant temp was about the same. So that's how the night went. I had a blast. Again, you know, setting it seems almost like a nonsensical goal, right? I mean, why would it matter if the car would run these times in these DAs? Well, you know, so often the case is, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, a lot of guys say, oh, I've got an 11-second car. And that 11-second car went, you know, something like an 1189 in a negative DA, you know, on a negative DA night. But the reality is it's more like a 1250 car on its best night on a drag radial or a drag tire, you know, in summertime conditions. I didn't want to have that stigma for my car. I mean, yes, it's run a best of an 1158 with a string of 1160s. But, man, I had to be able to, you know, put this car in the 11s in the worst case scenario and be able to back those passes up on the same night. So, at any rate, I couldn't be any happier with the car. I was having some fun with it tonight too, not just because it was running some good times, but there's a couple of other goals that I had. The first goal that I had outside from running in the 11s, I wanted to run an 11-second pass with the drag radials at street pressure. So that very first pass that I made, the drag radials were at 32 PSI, and I actually, and this is kind of by request, I ran the car with the traction control on in sport mode. Now, I've found that at the drag strip, sport mode is what the car likes the most. I was hunting a number, so I wanted to stick with the things that I knew would work. But, you know, I'd never run the car with the traction control on. So, after I did the burnout, put the traction control into sport mode, made the pass, and at 32 PSI, I got a little bit of a chirp coming out of the hole. You know, spun the tires, maybe the equivalent of maybe a full rotation and a half, but you know, it wasn't like it just sat there and spun. I mean, it was still accelerating, just the tires were a little bit faster than the car was moving. Still went in the 11.90, so I was stoked with that. The next pass to back that up, went ahead and I dropped pressure down from 32 PSI to 30 PSI. Rolled onto the throttle a little bit lighter that time, but I still left traction control on, so I thought it was funny that it, you know, didn't really make much of a difference because those drag radials were handling traction control well enough on their own. Car went a little bit quicker, and yeah, at that point I was stoked. My last pass, I ran the car the way I normally run it, with traction control 100% off, and I dropped the PSI in those tires down to 28 PSI. So, at any rate, those are the tech specs on the night. Hope you guys are having a great one and having fun with your cars as well. Post up your success stories. I'd love to hear about them. And that's a wrap on this one. Y'all have a great one. Adios.